Oh, greetings and salutations. And oh, that's better. So yeah, welcome to Wednesday. how, how is everybody today? Are we good? Are we fine? Are we fresh from an exciting first half of the week? Now that we're on hump day, so happy hump day to you all. That's good, good, good. Hey Anton, what do you think of the new Horus Heresy box? You are the second person to ask me this in the last hour or so. Um, so yeah, it's if we are getting Heresy 3.0, it's 3 years since the last one because I was at the open day that they did for the Horus Heresy introduction to 2.0, and yeah, normally every 3 to 4 years, isn't it? A new edition comes out. But with like the Saturnine armor, it's obviously proper old school, like one of the first types of Terminator armor that was available way back when. So there was like the original Terminator, which was very boxy, didn't last long. Then like the Saturnine, and then what we know as the like Indomitus armor. So bringing it in now, it's interesting. Obviously, armors in the last edition had different advantages and disadvantages, like movement and etc. Can and can't do certain things. But also Mark II armor is making an appearance. So having that now available after so long is nice for those that are still sort of really into Heresy. Now, I was speaking with one of my friends like yesterday with the leak, and I don't know, it's just like a vibe where it kind of doesn't. I'm not as drawn to the Heresy as I once was. Whether or not it's because people aren't, like friends and I aren't as deep into it. Obviously, I'm with the Titan Owners Club doing Titan walks and stuff, and I'm more sort of Titan centric and probably Legions, which is obviously like Heresy, but grander scale. Even though Heresy, as I always described it, was the Horus Heresy compared to 40k. The Horus Heresy was basically epic in 28mm scale because you had to have big armies for the actual game. I'm just going to adjust. Hopefully the sound's not too loud. I just realised it was a bit loud, so I'll just turn that down a bit. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, the look, the new Dreadnought and the Saturnine class Dreadnought, which I didn't know it was a thing, but it is. Sorry I didn't reply to. I saw your message earlier on and watched it, and was like, "Wow, that's awesome!" But I was in the middle of about 3 different things, so I'm so sorry I didn't reply straight back. But yeah, and you weren't the only one to send that to me as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. As I said, I've played a few. Like last year, I had a few games of Heresy. Literally, I'd play Heresy or Titanicus. That was my 2 main game systems. But then obviously Dystopian Wars turned up the year before last, and I've been doing as many games of that as I had as Heresy. Probably a couple more games to be fair, because I've done a couple of tournaments. So yeah, I've been sort of yoinked out of the Heresy as such, Still love the setting, still love, you know, the set because I'm doing legions and all that. And as you can see, we've got tiny tonks. So it's I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. I think obviously the original sort of like people from the ground level when the Heresy first came out, there was a lot of love, lots of people, and it's where sort of Forge World really did go off and become the powerhouse it became. But with everything that's been changing over the last few years, obviously like COVID as well, whether or not that's had an effect, I don't know. Because like you don't get as much Forge World. Most of the Forge World stuff is going to plastic, and maybe that's the sign for the future, because obviously they're not making the box sets anymore. Yeah, well, I said a few. I don't get that much mail. I think that the Mark II has rekindled my flame for 30k, and my plan was the greatest legion of the word bearers. That's fair. So yeah, as I said, like there were certain legions, like with armor marks. Now, for me, I always envisioned word bearers in Mark III. Or even Mark IV. Like Mark II was more like White Scars Associate, because obviously they didn't get supplied as well as other legions because they were out on the rims and everything. And who else is there? Probably World Eaters as well with Mark II. And Mark IV, because they actually got Mark IV. Emperor's Children was Mark IV, to my mind, as well as like Sons of Horus, Mark IV. But you know, like Iron Warriors, Death Guard, Mark III. You know, it has that's like, you know, that type of armor is what they kind of liked. And like Mark 4/2/6 for Raven Guard, you know, the lighter mobile armors sort of thing. But I just really dislike Mark 4. Oh, that's fair. Mark 3 is Mark 2 as well for Salamanders, I guess, because they probably look after it. But same token, Mark 3 for Salamanders. The heavier marks. Maybe even Iron Warriors as well. Right. Colours. I am thinking Dark Reaper. Don't know why. Just am. You know, I've made the decision in getting a Reaver since last. Oh, what? Proper Reaver? Then if you are, welcome. Don't forget to find the Titans Owners Club blog and register your Titan when you get the opportunity and with your certificate. Bring it on board. Right. I'm going to start fresh with that one. These are all been primed, but I was experimenting with contrast, and I'm just not happy with it. So just bear with me a second as I just repaint something. And dry there for the time being. So yes, Dark Reaper. That's what I'm feeling. Because I would have go with like Mechanical Standard Grey, but I don't know. I just want them to be a little bit different for some reason. That's what we're going to have a look at. I'm going to go with. So, what else are we doing, you two? What are you up to? Oh, that's a fault. I haven't done socials yet either. No, need that. Oh, bloody hell, what's going on here? I nearly pulled a trigger on some solar for LI on Sunday to do my Heresy Forces on a smaller scale, but Wood Elves were announced, so I don't have to wait. Not a lot really, bit of work on the Herald and some Seekers. Cool. Tonks, Gripple, hello Luke. Hello, welcome. Welcome. As always. Always welcome. Nice. Right. You got little tiny donkeys. Yeah, beep beep to you too. So these are Lemon Russes. A couple of Valdors there as well, for good measure. Yeah, it's I think one of them's Gryphonicus for sure. Could tell when it was sort of standing up, that definitely looked like Gryphonicus. So I would also assume then the traitor one. Oh, it was Tempestus as well. There was Tempestus engine in there. So yeah, they're getting some love for a change. No Volturum. No, there was no Volturum there. Eels, hello, Plastic. Mr. Pinter. Wow. I'll have to have another look at that. I was looking on my phone as well, so Kenneth sent it over to me earlier on. So I had a quick look, but I haven't really been back to it, unfortunately, because busy day. I've been off, but I've had a lot to be getting on with. Shut the door a sec. Yeah. Well, I have to make more time for myself to actually watch. I was watching Andor today as well, so and slipped into Rogue One. It's just sort of happened, as you do. Speaking of Titans, Septum Caelestis is under construction. Seventh Heavenly Father. Well, I had 7 in my mind because of Septum, but I was trying to figure out with Calestis, because there's a similar name that I have, but it's different. Well, it's like Calis sort of thing. Or Cestius. I can't think off the top of my head, but it represented Gale, as in like wind. So I was looking at like 7th storm, but heavens are part of where the air and winds live, so. Sim will be played out because I'm painting tanks for a change. Yeah, he does love a tank, that boy. Hey, it's the Alucard. Hello, Alucard. How are we? Slipping in there. What are you up to? You keep out of trouble? Very tired. I have the pleasure of watching you while still at work. But staying out of trouble, promise. Okay. Good, good. Yes, so don't want to get banned from viewing from work. You have blind to my load. It's the music and the argument. Oh, thank you very much. We try to be chilled, relaxed as best as possible, as always. I've only just stepped away to have dinner myself. Well, dinner is kind of important. We all need it. So there's no real straight way or like way of doing this that is sort of like very precise. This is a very base, splash it on. We're going to be going over with like washes as always anyway, so that will help the discoloration of the tonks, and then we'll work it from there, because this is not a pre-planned scheme. This is completely off the cuff. I'm using a colour I don't normally use, so we are creating a formation here. Yeah, what is for dinner? What we have in plastic? I had dinner before coming on stream. I cooked a ramen, like a chicken ramen basically, which was quite nice, as it not often is. So what on earth does TGI Fridays not detail their prawns? I'm not Korean. Who in the right mind eats prawns with towels? Well, you use a fork and free the prawn. Now, yesterday, as you may or may not be aware, it was my birthday, and so me and the kids went to a nice sort of more upmarket steakhouse than I would normally go to. So we went to a Miller and Carter, which for anyone abroad in Americas, Canada and Australia and all that, it's basically like a steakhouse. Well, they specialise in steaks and like the nice steaks. So I love steak, but I normally just hang around the sort of rump, sirloin area of things, purely for cost. And plus, I do like them. Yeah, I've had ribeye in the past, but I've never had a fillet steak. So I thought I'm going to have a fillet steak, and they do one here, which is their version of surf and turf, which basically you get lobster tail served with it as well. And I've never had lobster, so I thought I'll kill two birds with one stone. So I had this surf and turf thing, and the lobster, like, I think I probably would have enjoyed it more. Like they put like a little knob of garlic butter on top, but it wasn't really like, it needed to be like melted, really. So you know, it wasn't, because the butter, the knob of butter was really cold, and the lobster wasn't like piping hot, but you know, it didn't have a chance to melt properly. So I was like squishing it down and doing my best, utilising the hot plate it was served on to help. And yeah, trying to winkle the meat out of that was interesting. And to be fair, like, you know, admittedly, if I was at a different restaurant that probably put a little bit more into this lobster tail thing, it probably would have been a lot more, you know, appealing. But it was alright. You know, I won't have it again, not from that place, sort of thing. But that said, the fillet steak was delicious. It was absolutely banging. I really enjoyed that quite a lot. So that made up for it, especially like with the peppercorn sauce. I also nabbed, my daughter had, with her, she had a 9-ounce rump steak, and the sauce she went with was it's a beef dripping sauce, and that was pretty good. So I once she'd finished, because I was taking my time, I was savouring the steak. I nabbed that, and the last third went with the beef dripping. It had been going with the peppercorn beforehand. So yeah, that was nice, unusual. Probably would have just, you know, because my son, he doesn't have a wide like palate for food. So I think he literally just has chips when we go out. He eats a lot of like vegetables and fruit and all that sort of stuff. but he doesn't do like meat and stuff. He'll eat a sausage, like, but only if it's 100% pork. Or, but then again, he'll also eat like hot dogs, which is not 100% pork. But he has autism, so what are we gonna do? So yeah, that was. But it was a nice evening, so we had fun. Happy birthday! Thank you very much, Ali Cord, and Plas. Happy belated 50th of Farted Out the Womb Day. I went to one for my mum's 60th, and I would love to go back. Yeah, say the steak. I cannot fault the steak. The steak I asked for. I prefer medium rare. I can eat rare, but it's my birthday. I wanted medium rare, so I went medium rare. But the steak was proper good. Oh well, everyone's everyone's on the spectrum in one way, shape, or form, really. Some more than others. So Thomas was we sort of realised that he was a bit different from other kids of his age group and that. So he was sort of assessed and sort of at a very young age. He was only about 2 or 3. So he's a good lad. He's a big lad. He's taller than me and also wider than me. He's a monster. Loves his he absolutely loves trains, buses, loves just going on trains and buses, so wherever, knows all the ins and outs of the bus schedules. So when I'm driving him into college and there's a bus late, he knows. He points that out and just laughs to himself. Yeah, bless him. You on the extra tiny army building and painting stream? Unbelievable. Yes. Oh wow, I didn't even realise I'd done all 4. Bloody hell. Oh no, I haven't done all 4 because I haven't painted the sides of that one. I'm all about aircraft and big robots myself. That's fair. Yeah, he has no interest in like hobbying, modelling, or anything like that. But well, he's never really had any interest towards that at all. Plays computer games, plays lots of Roblox still. He loves that sort of creative community, and on like Minecraft, he used to build like supermarkets with parking bays and and everything, or train stations. But yeah, let's say everyone has a passion. So he does like planes as well. We've sort of gone down to sort of like plane watch from like Heathrow in the past. Plus, obviously, living near an airport as well. So, but he wouldn't go to watch planes there because he's more interested in the buses and train lines up that way. Firstly, I would love to come and play Titanicus with you, Lee. Well, maybe one day when I get opportunity to go somewhere. Normally, if I was going up to sort of like Warhammer World or something like that, I'm sure something can be arranged one day. Yeah, my friend Chantel from the Hobby Diaries, when we were going out around London back in March for the GQuacks premiere that we've been invited to by Bandai Namco. Literally, we were just walking along, talking, me, her, and our other friend, Miniature Noodles, talking, and suddenly she'll go, "Plane!" And you go, what? And you look up, and she's looking at a plane. Every time she saw a plane, plane, like that sort of thing. Like, you know, like that the dog from Up, squirrel. She's like that, and she's like, and then next minute she's got the app, so she's like, oh, that's going to here, and it's like, what? How do you do that? It's hard, God, the app's all right. And it was just so delightful, right? It was hilarious. Just when she knows she does it, but it was just so lovely. Just seeing that like passion. It's just like, oh, there's a plane. And then I even started going, shut up, there's a plane. But yeah, that was a great day. I really enjoyed that. It was a nice day out. But it was just like, you know, you'd just be doing something and then something, plane, what? I was lucky to witness Concord's last flight too, and I live in the Midlands. Yeah, Concorde, yeah, that was a beautiful. I took the boy to Duxford a couple of years ago, because I literally found out, because my favourite plane, or one of my favourite planes, but generally is considered my favouriteest plane, is the SR-71A Blackbird, and I found out that Duxford had one. So I took Thomas to Duxford. But there was also another reason for going there as well. So went there primarily because I hadn't been to Duxford. I've been to air shows in the past, but I've never been to Duxford. I've driven past it plenty of times, going up and down the M11 and all that sort of stuff. But once I found out that they had a Blackbird there, I thought, we're going. So we went down there, had a lovely day just walking around the place and all that. But they've also got at Duxford one of the other hangars down the far end, which has got like tanks and armoured vehicles and stuff. And what they also have there is Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery's command caravan that he had during the battle for North Africa, with like Operation Dynamo and Supercharger and all that sort of stuff. It was definitely Supercharger. That was the one that came later. But the reason why is because a grandparent was one of his staff drivers, and I saw a video. It was one of those. I think it was called Battlefields. It used to be on like Discovery Channel back in the last millennium. And I remember I was living with my brother Paul's, and I was up late at night watching Discovery, and they had Battlefields on, and they were talking about the Battle of El Alamein, and they tell you the background, and then they do a little profile segment of each of the generals. So obviously Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, and Bernard Montgomery, and they have the footage of them at the time, and there's this footage of Montgomery in his car being driven to the command caravan, and as it pulls up, this guy jumps out and runs round to open the door for him. And I saw this guy and I go, that looks like Uncle Kenny. And basically, my Uncle Kenny is a spitting image of his dad, sort of thing. And I've never been able to find the footage again since. You know, it's annoying. You know, I've Googled and all that sort of stuff. But he used to sort of be one of his staff drivers over there as part of the desert rats, and he was driving him, because I only know like two, like a couple of stories, well, one story really, was that my mum told me was that he was driving Montgomery through the Italian town where Mussolini was hung from the lamppost outside the petrol station of this town, when basically he got, you know, the Italians basically just added up and took him out basically. So they hung him from the lamppost, and the grandfather was driving Monty through that town. So yeah. So yeah, just wanted to see the tanks there, see and be near to that item, I guess. Just to, you know, because obviously the granddad would have been near to it as well, or even possibly, you know, standing outside having a cigarette or something. Blackbird is the only place to see the blackbird outside the USA. Yeah, Blackbird is amazing plane. I used to well, one of my only sort of like airplane models I had as a kid was a Blackbird. I also had a Tu-95 The Bear bomber. Don't know. I think that was bought for me because I don't think I would have gone out and bought that. Somebody bought me it for Christmas. Plus, one of my favourite films as a kid was a film called Daryl, with a child actor called Oliver Barrett. He was also in, I think it was Flight and Navigator. But he was like one of those like teen actors that just had a few films that came out that he was in, and they really clicked with me. So Daryl, which if you don't know, was basically he was a child that had been sort of snuck out of a military research facility, and he had like computer chip in his brain, so he was like really smart and advanced sort of thing. And these scientists broke him out so he could try and, you know, live a normal life and not be a guinea pig and stuff. And there's a bit in there that involves a blackbird. The Land Warfare Hall is now closed for demolition. What? I'll speak from experience. I had the pleasure of seeing some M1 Abrams last week. Oh, really? Was that sort of like a parade display type thing? Anton, I will see what shopping Copenhagen has to offer before I order a Reaver. Yes. Well, if they've got one there, I don't know what it's like over in England, outside of Warhammer World, there is only one Games Workshop store that has stock of Titans, and that's the one in London, at Tottenham Court Road, which is abbreviated TCR. Yeah, the exhibitions will be either dispersed or recoached on site. Oh, bloody hell. Well, that's a bloody shame. Well, I'm assuming that some stuff probably go to Bovington, if anything, because that is the main tank place. But just, I don't know, that's a bit weird. I'll put more hangars in there for like other aircraft, but I was over in Hofnaval, Germany, and they had training exercise going on. I just saw them convoying around, but it was still awe-inspiring. Yeah, seeing tanks in any sort of sense, really. Like I've seen, you know, armored vehicles either on the backs of transporters or even driving along in a convoy. So like you see, even just like basic army trucks. You know, you have a couple of army trucks, and then like, you know, outriding vehicles like armored um, sort of Land Rovers. You know, it's always cool to see like military stuff on the road, sort of thing. Just like, you know, oh, wonder where they're going. You know, you give them a little toot and stuff on the horn, just to say hi, guys. Um, but yeah, to say, like, you know, seeing like the army trucks and stuff. There's always, you know, it always sort of brings a little sort of smile to your face, and you know, it's cool. You also get like certain times of years when there's like car shows or there's military fairs and stuff around like Essex and stuff, and you get a lot of private collectors taking their like Willys Jeep out for a spin, you know, going down somewhere for the weekend, or if they're going for sort of D-Day stuff and they drive out to like France. So a friend of mine's actually got it's a Studebaker Weasel that he's got. So he picked it up, and he does a thing where they go out to Croatia for the Kelly's Heroes sort of reenactment reunion type thing. So he goes out there on a sort of well, whenever they go out there, like every couple of years, I think, or biannually, or maybe even every year. They go over to this town that featured in the film, and you know, dress up and drive around on Willys Jeeps and his Studebaker Weasel, which wasn't in the film. Yes. So like even like we sometimes see the Battle of Britain flight come over, because being up near Southend Airport, that is sometimes used for other air shows. So they're based at Southend, and then they'll fly off to Eastbourne, which is on the south coast, or Clacton for their air shows. And apparently there is rumour that Southend might be getting the air show back, because they stopped it for, well, they've stopped it for several years. But there's always, you know, a big, everyone liked the air shows. Just literally where my first house I bought was parallel to the runway, so I could go into my bedroom, look out and see the planes taking off from behind the sort of surrounding warehouse units and stuff, and hangar buildings. So and you always get, when the air show's on, you get loads of people, hundreds of people, all parked up down near the runway, and even on, they can get tickets to go onto the airfield itself, well, into the safe areas. You can't actually go and approach the planes, but you can go within the airport confines and certain places. And Southend was home. It technically still is. Not that you can see it anymore. From where basically they had one of the Vulcan bombers was parked there, which in itself is freaking awesome. Vulcans. I've been under one as it's done a low fly past. I was at Mildenhall Air Show, which was American Air Force Base in Norfolk, and at the time I was doing this Royal Marine a sort of course that they set up, like climbing ropes and netting and all that sort of stuff. And I was up there, and this Royal Marine was standing there. He was shouting at people to go, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And just as the Vulcan done its fly past, like directly overhead, and he was like not 2 feet away, shouting at me as I'm sort of like distracted by this Vulcan bomber. And he's shouting really like, ah! And I can't hear him because the Vulcan just comes over, and he has that. It's the Vulcan howl. You can actually like look it up on YouTube, and the noise it makes. It is like a howl as it comes swooping in, and that on its own is like it sends shivers down your spine, sort of. But it is a noisy motherfucker. It really is, and it weren't even pushing it. It's literally just coming like, "Hi guys, how are you?" But that was it was actually funny enough. I saw something yesterday about Operation Black Buck, which was during the Falklands conflict. Britain decided, right, okay, we're gonna bomb Port Stanley, but we're going to send in our Vulcan bombers to bomb it. And they just donated a Vulcan to, I think it might have been Duxford, and they literally just done it. And then the operation was given the go ahead, and they even went back and said, that Vulcan we just gave you, can we just have it back for a few more weeks? We just need it and all that. And like Duxford's like, no, can't do that. No. So that one didn't actually participate in the mission, but they flew from England to the Falklands, mid-air refueling. Basically, one of the things they had to do at Duxford is actually take out the mid-air refueling system. So they took that out. But yeah, they flew all the way down to the Falkland Islands, dropped their payload because they could carry 21,000-pound bombs, or they could carry several tactical nuclear bombs. Nose probe, yeah, for the air refueling, yeah. Alternate POV, passengers get to see a sleeping Lee for free. What? There's channels for that. I know that the shop has a Chaos Warhammer. Ah, right, okay. Nothing else comes close. We should modernise her design. It's between 85 to 92% power that the Vulcan house. Yes, but it's just one of those things. There's a lot of stuff as well. It's like the Lightning. That was a beast of an aircraft that we produced, and the technology that went into developing the Lightning was actually given over to and research and stuff was given over to the Americans as well, for they had use for it. I can't remember what it was for, but they used the stuff that we had developed for the Lightning for something they wanted to do. But yeah, the Lightning was just a beast of an aircraft. Like that could, as an interceptor, which was its primary role, didn't have a lot of armament, but it could get to like the heights so fast. There was a story about one of engineer, a tech, was working on it, and it somehow basically he had to take off. So because of a few things went wrong, and he ended up flying around this air base, and like they're going, do you know that the chief engineer is actually on this is actually in this Lightning flying? And you're like, what the fuck? He had flying experience, but not in a Lightning. So they basically talked him round, and he did manage to land it safely. So they actually gave him flight wings because he flew a Lightning by accident. I don't know whether or not the handbrake fouled or something. He was doing an engine test, and it basically started moving. He couldn't stop it. But yeah, he that was quite a funny little story that I just say just here. Again, that's something that you can see on YouTube, as far as I'm aware. A Blue Steel nuclear missile too. I've seen one at Newark with the Vulcan, and there's one at East Midlands, my local airport. I've seen her first taxi runs, and good God, I felt her in my soul. Perfidious Americans. You too, buddy. No offense intended, Alan. But no, that's the thing. It's like talking about friendly relations with our American cousins and stuff. I was watching this thing again. I love seeing all these like military reels on YouTube, and this guy who's I think he was either SEALs or Delta or something like that, and he was talking about the SAS out in like Iraq or Afghan. And they're saying like, oh yeah, those guys, yeah, like you see them and you go, oh, these are proper operators and all that sort of stuff. And he was talking really like, you know, you look up and they seem like 7 foot tall, sort of thing. These guys, and they just like, you know, chow down with us and all that sort of stuff. And he went into the mess hall, and he's just walking in there, and he sees the SAS guys sitting down, and they've got US patches on. And he's gone, hey, buddy, like, what's with wearing the flag? And the guy just turned around and said, well, someone's got to take the blame. It's just like, oh, yeah, fair. But they just like, just like ribbing and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of like, you know, again, like when you watch these films, these videos with like Delta SEALs and all that, and they're talking about the SAS, and they're just like they just operate on a totally different level to everyone else. You know, they might not have the best kit, like they don't have the best kit as like what the Americans have, sort of thing, because obviously your military budget is considerably larger than ours, but they know what they're doing, and they are sort of, you know, everyone I've seen, they also like, you know, they give the respect to them. And it's always, if you're in like a first tier you know, unit, you know, such as like, you know, SAS, SBS, Delta, SEALs, you know, you're always going to get, you know, that respect sort of thing. But in the off time, they, you know, they're gonna have a laugh and like joke around and all that sort of stuff, because they just, it's just, I think it's the British thing. We just like, you just go, oh well, we're in the shit, let's get it done. The Lightning was fast enough to catch the U2 and Concorde. Hey Badger, thank you very much for the belated birthday things. Thank you. Did you enjoy your tournament at the weekend? I saw your picture with your princess team of heroes. yeah, there was another thing that the Vulcans were involved in was there was the US were conducting sort of like early warning war games type thing, and they asked the RAF to participate um, in their sort of aerial umbrella defences, and basically in this simulated war games using aircraft. Um, the two times that they participated, basically the British in their Vulcans got through and nuked New York. Was the sort of target sort of thing. That was the mission. That was the op. Because they were just the US were trying to work out their defensive patterns and all that sort of stuff, and they're basically saying like, we want you to try and like simulate an attack, trying to break through the lines and all that sort of stuff. And I went okay, and they did it, and they did it twice. But at the end of the day, it's all research. It's all finding out and honing the defensive capabilities and early warning systems. But yeah, it's like all these little stories that get like unearthed, like years after the fact. But they all do, like, all these war games that they participate in. It's there for a reason, to try and learn and teach their forces how to operate and deal with certain situations. Better than someone else. Yeah, true. it's only simulated. I saw the Vulcan's penultimate display at Shuttleworth. I took my dad. He saw it, his first display when he was a child. Oh, that's cool. There's again, for your viewing pleasure, on YouTube, one of my favourite things. Actually, what I'll do, I can do that. Right, I'm just going to get the shout copy link. Right. I'm going to post this in the chat. So this is my favourite story to listen to, and I listen to this at least half a dozen times a year. It's the LA Speed story, which is a SR-71A pilot telling about their last training mission and shenanigans, sort of thing. But it's so funny to hear these sort of stories, especially from the people that was involved. It might just be an exaggeration, whatever, but it's a great story just to listen to. But definitely worth checking out when you've got 6 minutes to listen to the story of the LA Speed story. Or Warlord Aurora Septum. Mm. So. Paint the underhand side of a tank. I got some vouchers for Games Workshop, so I was considering maybe getting some Mechanicus tanks to go with my plentiful automata. How did you finish, Badger? Alex and Stuart got second place, wasn't it? I saw the Mechanicum tanks in the cabinet at Warhammer World today. They're incredible. Honestly, they look more detailed than the other ones. Well, that's probably going to help me. Well, it is going to help me because, I was thinking, like, do I... Because I weren't expecting getting these tanks. My friend sent me these. So I... thought, okay, I need some armor for Mechanicus. I've only got Triorus conveyors, armed conveyors, so they're not really like a tank. But the same thing is like the Krios, the Pulsar, the Venator. Yes, that's sort of tankish, but I don't know, I always thought that they would have something a little bit better. Not I would say better, but something. Mechanicum builds all this shit, right, for the entire Imperium, and you'd expect to have some sort of a really badass tank that does the shiz. But I don't know. But then they've got Automata, so that's a whole different ball game, really, isn't it? Deciding on what to go with. We also got the Triorus variant with the mortar, which I can never remember its bloody name. They missed out on second place by 5 points as someone cooked off their warlord before I could kill it for our secondary. We came third overall. We didn't take Accomplice, but it still had bite. We did Loyalist Ignatum, Exterminus, and Audax Canis Ferox. We had 3 claws and a Warhound Graviton. The claws span a time once, and the other time fouled and killed the claw Warhound. Grav is awful. So, in regards to obviously Grav being awful, what would you say for a Warhound with those other weapons? What would you say is now the sort of the best sort of combo for Warhounds? And I'm not including Reversus Claws, because really they're good with Audax because they're higher strength. But yeah, Warhound Grav is awful. Warlord Grav is wonderful. Graviton Ruinator, isn't it? I know I have one. I think that's with Volcanum. I've actually got in my drawer down there. I've got a load of, because I when I was going to Warhammer World, I was buying weapons, and I still haven't filled. So we have the Extirpator, the conversion beamer, some pair turbo lasers, Reaver Titan conversion beam dissolutor, Graviton Destructor, Graviton Destructor for Warhound. Oh no, I have two of them. Oh no. So just become best friends. Fuck. I'm doing several things at once, which I know I shouldn't, but I am. Ursus Claws are good enough. It just takes it's just specialised that makes them garbage. Take them with PGV, Plasma Blast Gun for those who don't realise, just to keep it useful. Warlord Graviton is rare as old rocking horse proverbial. Warlord Sea Beamer is glorious. It removes problems. Well, that's what you want, isn't it, really? So I know, like, because where I used to take stuff that I'd ordered or bought at Warhammer World back whenever I went up to Warhammer World, unfortunately, like, there was loads of stuff where I've bought and I haven't got a receipt, you know, especially where I've been paying out cash or something, and didn't have a receipt, so I can't take it back. Yeah, that's fun. I've actually got a load of like stuff because I tend to stockpile, as you can see. So there is stuff that I've got like from the Heresy armies I've worked on. My last one here, the Alpha Legion. I bought loads of tanks, and stuff, and I've still got loads of tanks in boxes unopened. Um, so that's an annoyance. I can't take them back because I don't have receipts. I don't have spare Ruinators. What's a Ruinators? Just looters. I don't have any spare Ruinators. Sorry. But then I need to sort of equip them for loyalists because I think I've only got the one. Sorry. I bought 3 at Warhammer World when they and then sold one to someone as they really wanted one, and I didn't want to hoard them. Now I want more, and they're one of my favourite Warlord weapons. I managed to spin an enemy Titan 180 degrees. That is impressive. Sorry. Need to shoot off. Have a good night, dude. Hopefully catch you on the next one. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing some stuff here. I need to get done quickly. So I do apologize. I'm almost done. So we'll be getting back to the tanks in a moment. I've literally just got 2 things I just need to quickly do. He says, going as quick as I can. Come on. I just realised I've missed off a bloody thing there, so I'll sort that out in a moment. Almost there. Yeah. Right, I think that is. Alright, okay, so. Off. Everyone calm down. Gizmo's arrived. Hello, buddy. How are you? How's your day been, buddy? Considering it took me 2 attempts not to type clam, that wasn't too bad. You're not working tonight, are you, Gizmo? Not another one of your little meetings or anything? Like the other day? Evening, geezer. Hello there, Nigel. Hello there, buddy. Buddy pal, friend of mine. How the bedevil are you, my lovely? I'm not too bad. Look, not long back from walking the dog. Did about 5 miles. Bloody hell. That's our walk. You working on anything, Nigel? I'm good. Been putting furniture together. IKEA help. Nice. We all love a bit of fucking IKEA. I really don't like IKEA. Well, I say that. I enjoy going into IKEA and then going to like the cafe and having something to eat there. And I do like some of their. They used to call them double chocolate flan, which were like oat biscuits with chocolate. And there was 2 of them, hence the doubler. So I enjoyed that, but yeah, ever since my first time I went into an IKEA and thought that I was being clever by trying to use a shortcut, and we got lost in an IKEA. We couldn't find a way out, kept on walking back and forth and around, and we got so topsy-turvy. It's like, I hate this place. I hate it so much because we kept on taking shortcuts and cutting through and going, I'm sure we've been here before, which we had. Going around. We could have asked, but you don't want to ask anyone for help. Not in that situation. Fragile male ego is on the line. Yeah. It's a scary place. IKEA meatballs for the win. Yeah, yeah. It's, they do a fine array of. Well, the thing about Swedish meatballs is it tastes like flan, which is a delicacy that the Narns in Babylon 5 enjoy. And we was enlightened by Jakar that every race in the galaxy has their own version of what they call flan, but it's basically Swedish meatballs. Yes, that is. I think in a way that sort of helps lessen the pain of going into an IKEA, is that they've got Swedish meatballs. They used to also, I don't know if they still do. I haven't been in there for specific reasons, but they used to do the like the hot dogs. Hot dogs are actually really quite nice. The little hot dog station. MV hot dog. It's like £1. It's like, wow. Although the breakfasts they're alright, but it was like, you don't get like scrambled egg, innit? It's not really fried egg. I like a fried egg. Happy 50th, mate. Thank you first. And you claim first as well, because nobody else is claimed first. It's the rules. You turn up, you claim it, it's yours. That's a very nice unit that you have built there. It's a mighty fine unit. A unit that will last the eons. Or until you get bored of it. How are you, buddy, anyway? You been alright? You're good? The lovely fair stout as well? All good? All good? And Emily, of course? Okay, cousins and friends, I gotta leave work. It's been fun. It's always a pleasure having you along for the ride, Alucard. I hope you have a great week. It is Wednesday, isn't it? A great rest of the week. Trying to catch me out. A great rest of the week, whatever you do. And I'll see you at the weekend if you're about. So take it easy and have fun. That's what we preach here. Still is asking, can he hear us? Of course I can. See, what you don't realise is whilst you're watching me on here, if you just look to your side and see Nigel's got his phone and he's actually, I'm listening to it on my phone right here. But no, I can't hear you. I'm sure that your beloved has eased your worries. I found some oily steel, and that's what I'm using, as you can tell, because I'm brushing it on. Grass. So yeah, so this is what I get up to on a Wednesday night and Saturday night. Is hanging around with some wonderful people that choose to spend some time with me whilst they're hobbying, or like Ali Card, who was at work. Just come hang out, listen to me moan and groan and stuff. Right, I'm going to go. Only popped in to say hi and see how you look now you're old. Yes, yeah, I've just gone. I'm going full Gandalf again. I just thought, wow, sod it, might as well just lay it loose. He wasn't, bothered about how he looked. So hair's down. There you go. But thank you for dropping by, both of you. Love you both, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Hopefully, no more IKEA furniture for the time being. Or budget animal. Yeah, I actually saw that picture again today. I got tagged on Instagram for this 6 photograph jobby, and as I was trying to sort that out, the Alan Moore picture, as I was skooking through my collection of selfies, the Alan Moore version there. I put the Rob Zombie one in there though, because I like that one. And my most recent one from my last day of 49, I put that on there as well. And yeah, so I just want to be inclusive, included in all the stuff, because why not? Right, you go have fun, and I'll catch up with you again later. You wonderful little creature, you. Yeah, more. Lovely old man. Thank you. I've always looked older than I actually am. So it's not an insult, it's a statement of fact. So it may look slapdash, but there is reason to my slapdashness. It just works. more. This is quite delightful. Yeah. Get that on there. And that one I just realised I've missed off the side. Well done. It's all that talking. do that one as well, which would be helpful.
I remember to do the matter.
Right. Wow. Ow. Itchy. Right. Hmm. Oh my. Right. I think I'm going to leave it there for this evening. Let these all dry and sort themselves out properly. But yes, thank you for coming to hang out for a little while, and been much appreciated. I hope that you have a great rest of the week, whatever you may be doing, and keep yourself safe and sound and cozy or cool, whichever. So yeah, we'll be back again on Saturday from 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I shall see you then. So until then, take care and happy hobbying.